Freya's journey is unique among the originals because she did not initially partake in the supernatural chaos that defined her family. While her siblings, including Klaus, Elijah, and Rebecca, engaged in power struggles, wars, and forbidden love, Freya remained hidden, honing her magical abilities in secret. Her upbringing was rigorous. She was trained in witchcraft, taught to master spells, and educated on the history of the Mikaelson family. Yet, this nurturing came with the painful absence of a true family, leaving her heart yearning for a bond that she could only imagine. This longing would define her character as someone who seeks to protect her loved ones at all costs. Despite her isolation, Freya's intelligence and mastery of magic became unparalleled. She is a white witch of extraordinary power, capable of wielding spells that even her parents could not fully comprehend. This ability positioned her as a key figure within the Mikaelson family once she reunited with them. However, her powers were both a gift and a curse. They made her indispensable but also a target, drawing her into conflicts that she would rather avoid. Freya's magical prowess allowed her to protect her siblings and allies, but it also placed a heavy burden on her shoulders, requiring sacrifices that few could understand. Freya's reunion with her family was bittersweet. She emerged into a world ravaged by centuries of vengeance, love, and betrayal. The initial encounters with her siblings were laden with complex emotions: anger for being abandoned, confusion about the past, and hope for the future. Through these reunions, Freya displayed unwavering loyalty, often putting herself in danger to safeguard those she loved. She became a stabilizing force within the Mikaelson family, using her magic to heal, defend, and manipulate events to protect her family from their enemies and from themselves. Ultimately, Freya's story is a journey of reclaiming identity and embracing her power while navigating the perils of loyalty, love, and vengeance. She embodies the balance between vulnerability and strength, love and duty, magic and morality. Every decision she makes is informed by her desire to belong and to protect, creating a complex tapestry of experiences that illustrate the challenges of being a Mikaelson. Freya's life, though tumultuous, is a testament to resilience, a chronicle of a woman who endured centuries of loss and emerged as one of the most formidable yet compassionate figures in the supernatural world. 1. Being hidden away at birth. From the moment of her birth, Freya's life was dictated by protection and secrecy. Mikael, her father, recognized the danger the family's enemies posed to his youngest daughter. Fearing for her safety, he arranged for her to be hidden from the rest of the world and even from her siblings, leaving her in the care of witches who could train her in the magical arts. This isolation meant Freya grew up without familial warmth, relying on mentors and books to understand her place in the world. The separation created deep emotional scars, fostering feelings of abandonment and longing. Despite this, she developed immense magical talent, as her mentors focused solely on teaching her the intricacies of witchcraft. Freya's early years were a mix of rigorous education and lonely solitude, shaping her into a strong, independent woman. Her identity was forged in secrecy, giving her the resilience to face the dangers that would later come. The absence of a family presence instilled a sense of responsibility in Freya. She understood early that survival meant mastering her powers. Yet, she never stopped yearning for connection, imagining the siblings she would one day meet. This yearning fueled her curiosity about her origins and led her to discover her own capabilities. Her power was both a shield and a bridge, connecting her to the family she never knew. Every spell she learned was a step closer to reclaiming her place in the Mikaelson lineage. The witches who trained her became her surrogate family, teaching her lessons in loyalty, sacrifice, and strategy. They warned her about the dangers of the supernatural world, but nothing could prepare her for the emotional complexities of meeting her real family. When she finally reunited with the Mikaelsons, the culmination of decades of preparation was evident. She was capable, confident, and ready to assert herself. Her isolation, though painful, had honed her abilities to a level unmatched by her peers. Freya's survival was as much about mental fortitude as it was about magical skill, a testament to her adaptability. She learned to trust herself in a world that had no room for mistakes. This experience would define her approach to both magic and family for the rest of her life. 2. Discovery of her magical heritage. Freya's journey of self-discovery was accelerated when she realized her magical lineage. Unlike her siblings, who were primarily vampires, Freya inherited the witch gene from her mother. This revelation was life-altering, giving her not just power but purpose. Understanding her magical potential opened new doors, enabling her to influence events in ways her siblings could not. She trained extensively in white magic, healing, protective wards, and ancestral spells, learning the depth of her capabilities. The revelation also came with the burden of responsibility. Her powers were a double-edged sword that could attract allies and enemies alike. Freya's mastery of magic became central to the survival of the Mikaelson family. Through rituals and spells, she gained insight into family secrets and histories, uncovering betrayals and hidden agendas. Her magical heritage connected her to a larger network of witches, broadening her influence. Freya became the bridge between vampire and witch communities, using her abilities to mediate conflicts. This discovery cemented her role as a pivotal figure in the supernatural hierarchy. Her magic also forced her to confront internal struggles, balancing morality with the necessity of sometimes ruthless actions. The awareness of her powers brought both confidence and fear, as misuse could have catastrophic consequences. She learned patience, strategy, and precision, honing not just her abilities but her decision-making skills. Each spell cast was a reflection of her intelligence and emotional depth. This newfound identity empowered her to challenge enemies who underestimated her. Freya's magical awakening marked the transition from hidden child to influential witch. It enabled her to claim her position within the Mikaelson family and the supernatural world at large. This discovery was not just about power, it was about agency, belonging, and the courage to shape her own destiny. 3. Reuniting with her siblings. The reunion with her siblings was a defining moment that reshaped Freya's life. Meeting Klaus, Elijah, and Rebecca brought emotional complexity, excitement mixed with resentment and curiosity. Years of absence had created emotional distance, and Freya had to navigate fragile relationships while asserting herself. Her return was both healing and disruptive. She brought wisdom, experience, and formidable magical abilities to a family long accustomed to survival through chaos. Each sibling had their own trauma, and Freya had to adapt to understand them while protecting herself. Klaus, particularly, had a complicated reaction, oscillating between jealousy, awe, and eventual acceptance. Freya's presence forced her siblings to confront unresolved issues from the past. She became both mediator and protector, using her knowledge and abilities to keep the family united amid external threats. This reunion allowed Freya to finally experience familial bonds she had imagined for decades. It also exposed her to the emotional intricacies of sibling dynamics, jealousy, love, rivalry, and sacrifice. Freya had to learn when to intervene and when to step back, mastering emotional intelligence alongside magical expertise. Her siblings' initial mistrust gradually transformed into respect and affection. This relationship building required patience and courage, as old wounds and dangerous enemies complicated every step. Through her actions, Freya earned her place not just as a sister but as a guardian of the Mikaelson legacy. Her reunion symbolized the return of balance and completeness to the fractured family. Freya's integration into the family reshaped her purpose, transforming her from a hidden witch into a central figure in the Mikaelson saga. 4. Mastering complex magic. Freya's mastery of complex magic was the cornerstone of her significance. Unlike casual witches, her training encompassed advanced rituals, blood magic, and ancestral spells, giving her unparalleled influence. She could manipulate time, bind enemies, heal allies, and summon protective forces, making her a formidable presence. Her magical skill was the result of decades of study, practice, and personal trials. Each spell required precision, knowledge, and emotional control, reflecting her intellect and emotional depth. Freya's understanding of magical law and ethics guided her actions, ensuring that her power did not corrupt her. She often used her abilities to protect the family from threats that brute force could not counter. Her mastery allowed her to uncover family secrets, revealing hidden betrayals and long-lost knowledge. This skill gave her leverage in conflicts, making her a crucial player in negotiations and battles. Freya's magical capabilities were both defensive and offensive, enabling her to adapt to diverse threats. She could counter curses, break hexes, and neutralize dark magic with precision. Each use of magic carried weight, demanding careful consideration of consequences. Freya's power was a reflection of her intelligence, patience, and emotional maturity. Her magic was an extension of her identity, embodying both strength and compassion. Mastering complex magic also required confronting her fears, insecurities, and moral dilemmas. She learned to balance ambition with responsibility, avoiding the pitfalls of arrogance. Freya's expertise became a symbol of hope for allies and a deterrent for enemies. Her magical accomplishments cemented her status as one of the most influential figures in the Mikaelson family. Mastery of magic was not just skill, it was a tool of empowerment, survival, and legacy. 5. Dahlia's manipulation and isolation. Freya's early years were not just defined by secrecy for protection but by the deliberate manipulation of Dahlia, her aunt. Dahlia orchestrated the separation from her family to control Freya's future and exploit her magical potential. From infancy, Freya was hidden and raised in a way that isolated her from emotional bonds, under Dahlia's strict guidance. Dahlia trained her meticulously in magic but combined education with fear, ensuring Freya would be both powerful and dependent. The isolation prevented Freya from forming a sense of normalcy or understanding familial love, making her vulnerable to Dahlia's influence. Despite this, Freya's innate intelligence and resilience allowed her to develop independence, even under oppressive conditions. Dahlia's obsession with creating a perfect, obedient which forced Freya to endure emotional and psychological strain from an early age. Every lesson Freya learned was tinged with discipline, control, and an underlying threat of punishment. Dahlia's manipulation delayed Freya's knowledge of her siblings, making the eventual reunion both shocking and emotionally overwhelming. Freya's perception of the world was shaped by Dahlia's ideology: power was paramount, and vulnerability was dangerous. While Freya obeyed Dahlia for survival, she secretly questioned the morality of her aunt's actions. This created an internal conflict between loyalty, fear, and her own emerging sense of justice. The isolation forced Freya to rely entirely on herself, sharpening her magical skills and mental acuity. It also instilled a deep desire for genuine connection, making her long for the family she had never known. Dahlia's control was a catalyst that simultaneously strengthened and traumatized Freya. It left Freya cautious of trust, wary of manipulation, and constantly evaluating motives. Yet, it also taught her strategy, patience, and the ability to anticipate threats. 6. Navigating complex sibling dynamics. Freya's relationships with her siblings were complicated by centuries of unresolved emotions, rivalries, and trauma. She had to carefully balance love, authority, and diplomacy to integrate into the family. Klaus's volatile nature and Elijah's moral rigidity created constant tension, forcing Freya to mediate and protect both sides. Rebecca's longing for familial closeness added another emotional layer, often making Freya the bridge between estranged siblings. Freya learned to anticipate conflicts and strategize interventions, often putting herself at risk to prevent harm. Her role required emotional intelligence, patience, and resilience, balancing magical solutions with psychological insight. She understood when to assert her authority and when to step back, cultivating trust and respect over time. Navigating these dynamics strengthened her emotional acumen and deepened her empathy. Freya often had to forgive past wrongs, both hers and theirs, to foster unity. Her siblings' struggles mirrored her own, making her protective instinct stronger. Each interaction demanded diplomacy, as impulsive actions could escalate long-standing tensions. Freya became the calm in the storm, grounding the family during crises. Her magical abilities complemented her emotional interventions, enabling her to anticipate threats and counter them effectively. Sibling dynamics required constant vigilance, as misunderstandings could have deadly consequences. Freya's mediation was critical in keeping the family united against external enemies. She developed a sense of fairness, ensuring no sibling felt neglected or overpowered. This balancing act made her indispensable, the moral compass guiding decisions in turbulent times. Her ability to maintain harmony showcased intelligence, strategy, and emotional strength. Over time, her siblings came to rely on her not just for protection but for counsel. 7. Protecting her siblings. A defining aspect of Freya's story is her unwavering dedication to protecting her siblings. From the moment of reunion, she recognized the dangers inherent in being a Mikaelson and took responsibility to shield them. Her protective instincts guided her actions in family disputes, supernatural conflicts, and political negotiations. Freya often used magic preemptively, creating wards, spells, and strategies to prevent harm before it occurred. Her efforts were sometimes met with resistance, as her siblings could be reckless or dismissive of her warnings. Yet, her consistent wisdom and skill earned their trust over time. Protecting her family became both a duty and a personal mission, reflecting the depth of her love and loyalty. Freya's approach combined emotional intelligence with magical prowess, allowing her to navigate sensitive situations with care and precision. She made sacrifices, endured emotional pain, and confronted dangerous enemies to keep her siblings safe. Her actions often prevented catastrophic outcomes, preserving the Mikaelson legacy through foresight and intervention. Freya's dedication reinforced her role as a stabilizing force, the moral and magical backbone of the family. Her protective instincts were not limited to physical defense, she also provided emotional guidance, mediating conflicts and offering counsel. Freya's ability to balance protection with autonomy allowed her siblings to grow while ensuring their safety. She became a mentor, guardian, and confidant, embodying the family's strength and resilience. Her sacrifices highlighted the complexity of love, sometimes painful, always necessary. Freya's protection extended beyond immediate threats, encompassing long-term planning and legacy preservation. This commitment shaped her identity as a Mikaelson, intertwining power, love, and responsibility. Every decision she made was influenced by the desire to safeguard those she cherished. 8. Sacrifices for the greater good. Freya's story is marked by repeated sacrifices, demonstrating her unwavering commitment to family and morality. She often placed herself in danger to shield her siblings from harm or to secure the family's legacy. These sacrifices were not without emotional cost, as they involved risking life, relationships, and personal happiness. Freya's willingness to endure hardship highlighted her selflessness, courage, and strategic thinking. She made calculated decisions, understanding that sometimes loss was necessary for survival and long-term gain. These acts reinforced her role as the protector and moral compass of the Mikaelsons. Each sacrifice strengthened her resolve, teaching resilience and patience. Freya learned to balance personal desires with duty, often prioritizing the family over herself. Her choices inspired loyalty among allies and deterred enemies. Sacrifices also exposed her to heartbreak, disappointment, and moral dilemmas, shaping her growth. Freya's ability to endure hardship while remaining principled set her apart from her siblings and peers. These moments of selflessness forged her identity as a leader capable of balancing compassion with pragmatism. Sacrifices often involved confronting dangerous magical forces, political adversaries, and ethical challenges. Her willingness to act decisively under pressure demonstrated courage and intelligence. Freya's sacrifices were not just physical, they were emotional and spiritual, reflecting her deep empathy. She often bore the weight of consequences alone, highlighting her resilience. Sacrifices strengthened her magical and emotional capacities, making her indispensable to the family. They also reinforced her understanding of love, loyalty, and the cost of protection. Freya's legacy is defined by these acts, illustrating that true strength involves both power and selflessness. Each choice shaped her path, preparing her for the challenges ahead. 9. Rebuilding family bonds. Freya's return and integration into the Mikaelson family allowed her to rebuild fractured relationships. She worked tirelessly to restore trust, heal old wounds, and create stability amid centuries of chaos. Her interventions fostered communication, empathy, and understanding among her siblings. Freya's presence encouraged reconciliation, transforming resentment into cooperation. She facilitated emotional healing, mediating conflicts and fostering unity. Her magical abilities supported these efforts, creating safety and protection while emotional wounds healed. Rebuilding family bonds required patience, consistency, and resilience. Freya had to navigate complex histories, betrayals, and rivalries while asserting her role as a trusted advisor and protector. Her actions strengthened familial loyalty and reinforced the importance of unity. The process allowed her to experience love, acceptance, and belonging. Rebuilding bonds was both strategic and emotional, as it ensured the family's survival while nurturing emotional health. Freya became a stabilizing force, ensuring that the family could face external threats together. Her guidance helped siblings understand each other's perspectives, fostering collaboration. The effort required balancing diplomacy, authority, and compassion. Freya's success in restoring relationships reflected her intelligence, empathy, and leadership. She became indispensable not just as a protector but as a bridge between generations. Rebuilding bonds demonstrated her commitment to family, love, and loyalty. These efforts allowed her to create a sense of belonging she had longed for during isolation. Her work strengthened the Mikaelson legacy, combining power, love, and resilience. Freya's role in family restoration cemented her place as a central, unifying figure within the originals. Freya Mikaelson's story is one of resilience, power, and unwavering loyalty. From the moment she was hidden away by Dahlia to her eventual reunion with her family, she navigated isolation, manipulation, and emotional trauma with extraordinary strength. Her journey was defined by the mastery of magic, the courage to confront dangerous adversaries, and the intelligence to mediate conflicts within her volatile family. Through every trial, she remained steadfast, blending compassion with strategic acumen. Freya's life is a testament to the strength that emerges when survival, identity, and love intersect. Her experiences of love, loss, and sacrifice shaped her into both a formidable witch and a deeply empathetic individual. Each heartbreak and trial reinforced her resilience, teaching lessons in trust, patience, and moral responsibility. Freya's dedication to protecting her siblings and rebuilding fractured bonds highlighted her selflessness and emotional depth. She became a beacon of stability and hope within a family often torn apart by power struggles and supernatural conflicts. Her ability to endure pain while guiding those she loved demonstrated a maturity far beyond her years. Freya's mastery of complex and dark magic further solidified her role as an indispensable force among the originals. She learned to wield power responsibly, balancing morality with necessity to safeguard her family and allies. Her strategic brilliance, combined with magical expertise, enabled her to confront threats that few could withstand. Every spell cast, every ritual performed, reflected not just power but wisdom and foresight. Through her actions, Freya exemplified the delicate balance between strength and empathy, proving that true power lies in the union of skill and heart. Despite centuries of manipulation, isolation, and danger, Freya reclaimed her independence, identity, and purpose. Her confrontation with Dahlia marked a turning point, demonstrating courage, determination, and the triumph of self-awareness over oppression. Freya's journey illustrates the importance of autonomy, resilience, and the ability to define one's own destiny. She became a model of leadership, combining intellect, compassion, and magical skill to protect and unite her family. Freya's story is a vivid illustration of how adversity can forge strength and wisdom, shaping a legacy that transcends time. Ultimately, Freya Mikaelson's life is defined by her unwavering loyalty, immense power, and profound humanity. She navigated centuries of trauma, manipulation, and danger while maintaining her moral compass and emotional integrity. Her dedication to family, mastery of magic, and ability to balance love with responsibility ensured the survival and unity of the Mikaelson legacy. Freya's story is one of empowerment, demonstrating that strength and compassion can coexist in the most extraordinary ways. Through every trial and triumph, she emerged as one of the original's most formidable, wise, and compassionate figures, leaving an indelible mark on the supernatural world.